Hello and welcome in. This is Lunar Goddess Tarot. I'm Sarah and I'll be your intuitive guide, your channeler, and your reader today. Now, today I was guided to work with the Divine Masculine Collective and to receive some messages from the Divine Masculine Collective. You'll have to excuse me as I still am receiving throat chakra healing and upgrades, and as such, I am still coughing and clearing my throat quite actively. So, you know, if that annoys you, go ahead and click off, but it's out of my control right now, and I still want to deliver you guys the messages that need to be heard and received at this time. If you guys are wanting an energetic update or a cosmic update, you can head on over to Patreon. It's a way to support my channel and my work, but it's also a way to receive energetic updates, astrological updates, divine masculine updates, divine feminine updates, union timeline updates, etc. So I've shared over there just a few days ago, and there's different tiers. You will find different posts for different tiers. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to focus and really just jump right into the reading here and focus on delivering the messages that really want to come through. If you guys are struggling right now, it is highly suggested for the month of December to lay low, to stand still, and to do a whole lot of nothing. It may sound counterintuitive, or it may sound like, well, that's not really advice. You're telling me to do nothing, but it's actually very good advice for you know, for you to be able to receive the healing that needs to be received right now. It's not even integration time. It's not even necessarily upgrade time. It's a time for significant healing while the Divine Masculine Collective goes through their activations, their healings, their upgrades. But what's happening is their gifts are now coming online. And so things are really starting to shift. It's bringing a lot more light onto the planet, which is requiring us to rest and to receive. So I'm going to begin here with the, I'm going to begin with the tarot deck here. And it's funny because, guys, my throat was okay until I started opening this video and doing this video. So yeah, there's definitely some you know, you'll find that your guides are finding ways to obstruct you taking action right now. And as much as I want to get videos out to you guys, I'm not able to do as many as I would like right now because they really want me resting and healing, my voice in particular. For some of you, it might be crown chakra upgrades or healing coming through third eye chakra. It's whatever chakra really is, you know, is your most powerful in this lifetime. And my soul is divine truth and divine manifestation. So it makes sense if I'm speaking divine truth that I need to receive healing in that department. And that is exactly what's going on. So let's go ahead and call on the highest high, calling on the masters, the ascended masters, calling on my light team, my guides, my ancestors, and my highest version of self to come through and to assist in the delivering of this reading. They actually want me to shuffle one more time here, so I will do that. 2 more times, they said, okay. It's a lot of shuffling. Messages to come through here. Let's check in with the Divine Masculine Collective. Now, this is a reading for awakened souls. It's a reading for twin souls. It's a reading for kindred spirit connections, higher level soulmate connections, and for anyone walking the ascension path at this time here on planet Earth. We have the Ace of Earth, the Ace of Pentacles. So the work is being done in the 3D again with your divine counterpart or your divine masculine, whoever you identify as the divine masculine, or maybe it's you that identifies as a divine masculine energy. Excuse me, guys. So what we see here is the inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. So yeah, maybe it could be legal documents, legal contracts with business partners, or it could be signify, you know, divorces or settling of some sort of legal affair, as well as a purchasing of property, a purchasing of a house, or a selling of property or house or business, etc. So this can take many different forms when they speak of contracts and documents. But the Ace of Pentacles is a really positive card to receive. So when it speaks of the Divine Masculine Collective, I feel like their abundance is going to start to come back online in 2022 after they've gone through about a period of 2 years of really losing, or a year and a half of losing a lot of their abundance and losing their ties to that abundance, and even shifting or recalibrating their idea of what abundance is to them. Abundance used to take the form of a physical object, physical structure, and now abundance is taking the form of peace and quiet and introspection and different gifts that they're able to give themselves and to give others, like quality time, rather than the physical objects, like something that money can buy. Now it's what can my heart give to you? What can I offer you from my soul and from my heart and from that truer space, versus the space of, you know, the illusions and distortion of the 3D matrix. So they are definitely, there's some shifts going on in the Divine Masculine's material world and space. And they are definitely finishing off, they're cycling through a particular cycle in their lives, and they are definitely beginning a new cycle. So when we see the world and the ace, an ace with the world, any of the aces, what we see is the aces come before. Let's say if it's an Ace of Cups, then you have the Two of Cups, an Ace of Pentacles, then the Two of Pentacles. These endings like they were or would have in the past, rather they're welcoming these endings because it's just too much of a burden to carry at this point in time. They can no longer pretend, they can no longer wear those masks. And frankly, they're tired of their own bullshit. You know, they're tired of their own shit, of walking around pretending to be something they're not. Many masculines have joined men's groups and have started to have open-hearted discussions and become vulnerable with one another and really share in the trials and tribulations that they experienced in childhood and beyond, as far as closing their heart, not speaking their truth, and living a lie. and also how they express themselves, how they share their emotions, how they open their heart to partners, you know. And so this is really beautiful. And I've had the pleasure of connecting with a lot of these amazing Divine Masculine souls. And it's just such a pleasure to hear of the journey that they're on, where they are truly ascending. And this is bringing so much light onto this planet. And it's really causing the Divine Feminine to stand still. As the Divine Masculine continues to make the strides, she is given permission at this point in time to really just go within and stand still. Now, neither masculine or feminine is necessarily feeling the urge or the need to reach out to one another at this time, because there's just not a lot to give to each other. You're giving to yourself right now, and you're masculine. You've taught your masculine how to give to themselves, how to put themselves first. There's just not a lot of extra energy being devoted to the physical connection at this time, because there's a focus for the masculine energy on what is happening in their 3D life, and it's like putting the pieces together, laying the brown dicks. Did I just say that? Oh my god. Okay, my guides are like, you just need to rest your voice. I'm supposed to be resting and not speaking right now, by the way. And so they just had me say brown dicks. What I was trying to say was, oh my God, have mercy. I was trying to say brick and mortar. I was trying to say brick and mortar. Okay, they're like, could you just take a break and take your own advice, sister? Okay, so the Divine Masculines are not laying brown dicks. They are laying the brick and mortar foundation for their lives and their future, and for the future of this connection, of if there is going to be a connection, because they know now that it rests on your shoulders. Well, the burden rests on the masculine, but it's up to the feminine. She is now the one leading the way, and she is now the one who has the power in the sense of saying yes or no to accepting the Divine Masculine back into her life. I can't get over what just happened. Okay, let's get, I swear, I really am supposed to be resting my voice right now. My guides have been very adamant, and I've been clearly ignoring the messages. So they had me just jumble my words. say that on air. So thank you, guides. Those would be my Sirian guides. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. And also my grandfather, who's very cheeky. He's on the other side, and I know you had a part in this, so not cool. Okay. Wow. Divine Feminine, you got a lot going on. You've got 2 major arcana cards and then two cards. So we've got the 2 of Wands, the 2 of Cups. You're feeling very passionate. You're feeling very cheeky, very almost like full of yourself, but in a good way. Some of you might be kind of flaunting your gifts at this time, or flaunting other relationships to your counterpart. Like, look, I've got other people attracted to me, and your counterpart's feeling this, whether it's in the physical or the 5D. So what's happening is you might, as I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, you might have your counterpart come through in the dream state and sort of like stake their claim. So if they're doing that, they're going to come through kind of with an attitude, and likely with, you know, like, you're mine. And the feminine's going to be the one, I feel, who's like, look, you know, I don't have time for this bullshit. I don't have time for games or nonsense. And so you're going to be the one, he's going to be the one chasing you in dreams. Whereas in the past, I feel like it's been the feminine chasing the masculine. So the tides have definitely turned in these connections, which is causing some chaos and ruckus in the masculine's life. Now, the feminine is represented by 2 very powerful numbers, 11 and 7. So you have this energy of union, this energy, like the strength within. This is, to me, inner union. This is, you know, the strength in the heart of a lion, but the courage of the lion as well. So there's great compassion that the feminine is embodying at this time. There's also the potential to release a lot of the past that's happened in your connection, and also to come forward with a lot of compassion for what your counterpart has gone through, and finding just deep forgiveness. I would recommend the Ho'oponopono prayer this month. I actually practiced it last night, and it is just so powerful in releasing those unwanted or negative energies, those lower level energies of blame or shame or anger or anything like that. And it releases stress from your body as well, and from your mind. So I'm a big proponent of that. And if you're not familiar with it, it's a Hawaiian ancient forgiveness prayer ritual. It's called Ho'oponopono. Okay, so then we have the Chariot, which oftentimes you'll hear readers talk about the Chariot in terms of really like fast movement, right? Moving quickly towards a destination. But because it's often depicted as a black horse and a white horse, or black stallion, white stallion, what I often see is 2 separate potential paths or roads, which is interesting because we have both of these 2s, the 2 of Wands and the 2 of Cups. So there's potential here, feminine, for 2 different paths to be taken at this time. And I feel like because it's 2 and 2, this is the year 2022. So they're definitely, and then here's 2 in the strength card, right? 11 can be narrowed down to 2. So we have definitely the energy of 2022 coming in. And it's really saying, like, you're going to start the year off on a bang, Divine Feminine. You've come into your own, new partnerships, right? New contracts being formed. A lot of you, as I've been speaking for quite some time, are going to move homes or move jobs, or have already done that. And that's bringing you into your own element. It's really bringing in another kind of aspect of your personality, or you're developing a new layer to your personality. It's bringing out something in you that maybe has needed to be brought out, or has been in some way just kind of pushed down, you know, pushed below the surface. And new friendships, new business partnerships, new is what's coming up for the feminine. So the masculine's closing out old cycles, and basically the masculine's almost being given, you know, like on the movies you see, or if people have had an NDE, a near-death experience, you'll see that they talk about what happens, you know, when they get to the other side. And it's kind of like, oh, my life flashed before me in a series of pictures. Well, it's kind of what's happening for the masculine with the World card up here. Is the masculine is kind of, it's like the ghost of Christmas past just came up, is what my guides just showed me for the masculines. They're going back through all their old relationships and old partnerships, like old conversations, and the ways in which they've acted in the past towards you that have been out of alignment and really misaligned or unaligned or malaligned. And we're really coming from a place of just really harsh judgment or criticism towards this journey and towards anything you might have represented, which was taking them out of their comfort zone. And that's why a lot of them, you know, felt like we're just too different, is because you're actually not. You guys are polarities. So yeah, it feels like you're different in the 3D, but at the center, at the core, you're the same being, you're the same seed, and you're the same soul. So the masculine's starting to realize this person is me. Like, I am this person in another body. Where they were able to sort of push you aside in the past and I want to say like pretend like this connection wasn't that powerful, like it was just another soulmate connection or something like that. They're now realizing that I cannot shake this feeling that there is something important with this connection. I can't shake this person. I can't shake the memories. But when they go over the past relationships they've had where they might feel some sadness, like a twinge of regret or sadness, they're finding that they're able to heal and move past that. But when it comes to you, they just kind of feel stuck. And so they're creating this new beginning in their physical world. And I feel like it's going to look a lot different for them in the coming year here in 2022. So feminine, you're making some choices. You've got a lot of willpower. It says self-discipline, public recognition. This is the feminine coming into her own in 2022. Some of you, I'm hearing, will be writing books. Somebody's going to get a record label out there. That's for somebody, like one person in particular listening. And then I'm also seeing like horses. Somebody out there is working with horses, horse trainer, or maybe your masculine is an equestrian. What is it, like equestrian sport? I don't know what that's called, athlete. But what else is coming through? Boats, like working with boats or being on a boat or something like that. World travel. These are all things that are coming through and again, it could be something you identify with, or your masculine identifies with, or your inner masculine is identifying with. But yeah, feminine, you've got, you know, the Two of Cups is union. And it's like the Strength card, as I said, is also signifying union for me in this particular reading. So you're really coming into your own element, into your own space. And you're drawing in a lot of newness. And that's making the masculine a little jealous, I have to admit. They're not crazy about that. They feel like they've really lost you in many ways. Maybe not entirely, but like, whereas in the past, you would have come forward and you would have been reassuring them that everything was okay. You're not doing that this time, okay? You're not reassuring them that everything is okay. And they're seeking that reassurance, and they're not getting it from you. You know, and that's making them, it's kind of filling them with doubt. It's filling them with a lot of regret, wishing they could go back and make different choices, and wishing they hadn't said certain things, or wishing they had said certain things and had told you how they really felt. But the universe is like being pretty firm with them, and you're going to have to learn these lessons on your own, masculine, you know. And it really did take the feminine walking away for the masculine to come to this conclusion that this is a very, very special connection, and it's truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And, you know, don't blow it, right? It's like the universe is saying, don't blow this, masculine. This won't come around again in this lifetime. And you don't want to wait until next lifetime, because there's so many beautiful opportunities that, you know, abound for you if you just honor this connection for all it's truly worth. Now, when I asked how the masculine was feeling about the feminine, you know, moving on and having all these powerful cards, it's the Five of Wands, which oftentimes is depicted as somebody competing with other people. So it would be like competing with other suitors. But I also always feel like this is competing with yourself. Like you have different ideals for yourself, different belief systems that contradict each other, or thoughts that just don't align with other thoughts. So there's definitely competing goals, bothersome details, and conflict with others, or conflict with self. But they definitely are feeling the competition with these other suitors. And there are suitors for the feminine. Whether you're reaching out and being open to them or not is up to you, but they're out there, feminine. And what you're going to find is you're going to be attracting in masculines that are at your level, that have opened their hearts and done their work and worked on inner child wounds, and are willing to meet you where you don't have to mince your words. You can talk about all of the spiritual stuff on the journey that you've been on without feeling like, you're going to receive some sort of like judgmental comment, which your masculine probably used to do. And you're able to share what you do for a living. You're able just to be very open with these masculines that are coming in. They're going to be coming in left and right, Divine Feminine, and they're attracted to your spirit. They're attracted to your soul. They're attracted to your essence. They're falling in love with your soul. And a lot of these are going to be potential, next relationships, romantic relationships, potential love interests. And they hold a lot of power. These are very special connections. And so I feel like for these masculines that have been dragging their heels with moving on from the past, the feminine is saying, you know what, I'll do it for you. I'm going to move on. And what that's done is it's not what you think. Or readers will tell you, oh, you're going to go backwards. You're going to delay your union. It's actually the opposite. When you start to move on with your life, when you open your heart again, which is exactly what we're here to do, is open our hearts. There's no limit to the amount of love that we can give or receive. That's ridiculous to assume that, or that you should close your heart because you're on a twin flame journey or a kindred spirit journey or higher level soulmate journey is ridiculous. So you open your heart and you allow yourself to have these experiences, and your masculine feels this, and it feels like you might be feeling heart chakra pains at this time, feminine, but it's not yours. It's your masculine finally with the stark realization that, wow, the feminine is not only not coming forward this time to reassure me or to validate this connection or to remind me, she's always there, but I feel her moving on with other people. I feel her dating. I feel her opening up her mind and her horizons and her heart to other potential suitors, and this is what's causing this new beginning and this ending here. It's like a crash and then a restart. What else does the masculine think about the feminine moving on? Oh, well, it's spurred a very great and powerful awakening within the divine masculine. It has spurred, this is the Hanged Man in the traditional deck, but in this deck, it's called Awakening, which I love because he's seeing things from a different perspective, okay? It's forced him to look at this connection, as I stated earlier, and you and everything, the way he perceived you, the way he perceived the connection as, oh, we're just too different. But then he was always drawn back to you and could never explain it to himself. And he would try to run and try to, start other relationships or jump into other jobs. Or I know a divine masculine of a very good friend of mine who might be listening to this reading, and he just went ahead and just bought, more companies and started, he's like a multimillionaire, but he just decided to continue to throw himself into his work rather than face himself and face his demons and his past. And so, and healing what needs to be healed. So it's like the willingness to see things from a different perspective, which is beautiful. So it's brought your masculines almost to their knees, but it's caused a pause in their lives, which then created the ending, which will then create the new beginning. But it's because the feminine's embodying this strength and she's making choices that are leading her in different directions, away from the masculine and away from the drama and the uncertainty that he'd given her up to this point. So let's get some messages from the masculines. And as we receive these messages from the masculines, I'd just like you to just take a deep breath and just be in the energy of receiving whatever wants to come through. So what do these divine masculines have to say to their feminine? The silence is driving me crazy. I miss you. I'm waiting for the right time to approach you. I'm not sure when that is. It won't be long now. Please don't be mad at me. Soon. And I would love to have a reconciliation with you. I'm not sure how to go about it. I'm working on it. I need to feel you again. So they don't really feel you right now, feminine, where again, as they have in the past, the masculine feels they feel the separation, they feel the silence. The silence can be felt, it's palpable for them right now. I feel like they're having trouble eating, they're having trouble focusing and concentrating. Like, I woke up very angry today, whereas yesterday my heart, I had a heart chakra blast open as I was driving on the interstate, of course. Like, of course it happens when you're, behind the wheel on the interstate, not on like a back road. And I just felt my heart open, and I knew that was my masculine coming through, like wanting me to reach out to him in the 3D, but I'm refusing to do so because it is just not in my best interest or not in the highest good of the connection right now. I am not his keeper, and nor am I his healer. I am here to spark him to heal himself, and I'm doing that by keeping my distance, and I'm doing that by, honoring myself. So the feminine comes back and says, I want to celebrate love with you. I want to see you. I long to be with you again. But I need to know that I can trust you. I want that new beginning, but I need to know I can trust you with my whole entire heart, that there's going to be no more games, no more back and forth, no more in and out. Otherwise, I will not surrender. So the feminine is pretty stern about this. Like, I won't surrender to you unless I feel like I can fully trust you. And I feel like she's asking him with this, can I trust you? Or are you going to pull the same stunt again that you have in the past? Going back to the karmic, or, going back and ignoring me or blocking me, or pretending this connection, isn't real, or telling me that, it's never going to amount to anything, or that we're too different, or whatever the excuses are you going to finally face yourself and face me and face this connection? I know that card wanted to come out. I'm clearing up karma, says the Divine Masculine. I'm clearing up karma. I regret what I said to you, right? So if they said something that was cruel, or if they said, that they chose someone else, or like, for instance, I know for a fact that there was a certain conversation I had with my masculine, and he regretted it instantly. As soon as it came out, as soon as he said it, and based on my reaction, and based on the respect I had for myself and the way that I reacted, he immediately regretted it. He knew that it was the wrong thing to say to me, that it had induced a lot of pain in me, and it really drove me away, and it caused a significant separation, because I felt taken for granted. I felt like I had been used and manipulated, and I wasn't having it. And what happens in these divine connections oftentimes is that the feminine stands up for herself, but you're not only standing up for what has just happened with the counterpart, you're standing up for all the times where you have been mistreated in the past from any partner. And that's what really is coming through Divine Feminine. So the masculine says, I'm clearing up karma. Yeah, and that's exactly what I feel like with the World and the Ace of Pentacles. Like, I can't have this new beginning that I want until I clean up my act. Okay, I know I have to have these endings. And on the bottom of the deck, we have a message that really wants to come through. I knew it. 2 messages, actually. I'm worried about you moving on. Yeah, I mean, that's been kind of the theme that's come through in this whole entire reading. And I really, really do miss you. Like, I really miss you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm worried about you moving on. And it's like, I feel like they're doing everything they can to get to the feminine, but he's waiting for the right time. And he's like, I can't do it yet. And he's hoping the Divine Feminine understands that it's taking him longer than he had hoped and longer than he had expected. So we're going to go over to the integration deck here, and we're going to look. It's a deck by Diane Garris, and as are the messages here. She has an Etsy shop. She is a beautiful Divine Feminine. And what we're going to get is the energy of the feminine. Feminine, you are in the energy currently of the Angel of Duality. And I'm not surprised to see that with the Strength card. So you're in the sort of like a processing energy. You're coming into that inner union, or have recently come into that inner union, and you're realizing, like, This is like hot and cold, left and right, back and forth, good or bad, masculine, feminine, sun, moon. It's all of those things that make the matrix, right? That make this world a 3D world, is being able to identify the duality of this human existence and human consciousness that we're currently living in. Sometimes this can be hard to exist in this duality. But it's like, can you find that place, feminine, of understanding that you're a soul having a human experience and not the opposite? Can you understand that the energy body is not separate from you, that, you know, your higher self is not separate from you? That nothing is actually separate, that everything is deeply and intricately and very intimately connected to something else. So you're reflecting on the true nature of just all of the relationships: relationship to self, relationship to others, relationship to nature, relationship to this life, relationship to animals, to the land, the oceans, etc. And you are realizing that this physical reality isn't all there is. And not that you're realizing it, you've known that since birth, but you're remembering it. It's a remembrance of the truth. So feminines, you're very deep in introspective mode right now, which is why you're probably called not to talk, not to act, and just to stand still. Honestly, just to stand still. So the masculine is finally working in some of the lower chakras after being in those higher chakras for weeks and weeks and weeks. Well, here we have on the bottom of the deck a higher chakra. Oh, look at this. Okay. Whoa. Okay. So, okay, I see what's coming through. There's the higher chakra. So we have the heart chakra, the sacral chakra, the root chakra, and then we have this 8th chakra, the star chakra, which is connected to oneness, consciousness, non-duality. Okay, the truth. But the first two to come through were, you know, this is, sacral chakra holds, you know, the soul. This is the seat of the soul. So you have this energy of creativity and fertility. And I feel like this is very much speaking of this Ace of Pentacles and this ending here with the world, of ending that vicious, toxic cycle, right? Of attracting toxicity into your life and thinking that you deserve to be miserable. You deserve to, you know, to have people cheat on you and lie to you and treat you like shit. And like, you don't deserve the purity of this connection and of what the divine feminine offers. And then this is about cultivating self-love. This is a deeper level of that root chakra, because when you feel stable and secure and safe, you love yourself and you trust yourself, and you know that you can give yourself that stability, and you trust that you don't have to seek it outside of you. So the masculines are really honoring self-love and realizing it's not bad to love oneself. That this kind of honoring of self really does begin at that first chakra, that first level, and then it rises up through the root chakra all the way up to, you know, the 8th chakra and beyond. So loving yourself enough to stay in alignment and to make those healthy choices, and then everything else flows forward from there. And they are working on forgiveness. You know, they're working on this concept of, again, non-duality and one love. And it's, here's the beginning. Here's that card again of that fresh new beginning, that fresh start, that everything circles back around and comes back to self and comes back to love, and having love for self, having love for the universe. So you guys are actually mirroring one another in a beautiful way. Whereas the feminine is working on this, you know, non-duality consciousness, and so is the masculine working on this energy of going back to a place of, you know, connecting to love in all of its forms, and realizing that you're an eternal being, and that an ending, right? The world is a beginning. There's, again, the death energy comes through. It's very pervasive in these readings, and I feel like it will be through the month of December. So there's an end of a long, long vicious cycle and making new choices. And there's an exciting energy here, especially if the concept of forgiveness can be applied for the divine masculine in moving forward and honoring. They have to forgive themselves, guys. They're at this stage of the game where the feminine, you cannot help them. You're not going to move things forward by anything you say or do in the 3D physical reality at this time. The best thing you can do is turn around and focus on yourself and focus on your goals and your dreams, and allow the masculine to cultivate self-love and self-forgiveness, realizing that they are a part of something much greater than themselves, much greater than the money that's in their bank, much greater than the size of the house that they own, much greater than the attention they're getting from others. It's like much, much deeper, that the meaning of life is much, much deeper than these superficial concepts that have once been very pervasive in their life and overtaken their life and controlled them. And this is where the addictions are starting to unravel too. So before we kind of close out this reading, which has turned out to be another very important reading, we have the Lovers on the bottom of the deck, coupled with the Sun. And how interesting that I was called to look on the bottom to find two more major arcana cards that talk about the influx of light on the planet with the Sun card, and talk about how that we are waging this war of good against evil, and how the Lovers, which can often represent two paths, much like the Chariot card that the Feminine got, it can be two choices, two lovers, two paths. But in this instance, I feel like this is the two paths that the counterparts can take, where you guys, your paths have diverged for quite some time. So are you going to allow your paths to converge again? Is it time for that? Because astrologically speaking and cosmically, energetically speaking, I would say yes, it is time to bring those paths back together. So it's about opening up this path that may have felt closed off for quite some time. And the Sun is shining on these connections. The light is coming in more and more powerfully with every setting sun, every day that passes, every sunrise, every sunset. And it's about, getting out in nature, guys. Vitamin D is your friend. Vitamin D heals. It boosts your immune system. You can have stellar immune health by simply getting, 15 minutes of sunshine every single day. And if you're in a place where you don't get sunshine at this time of year, buy one of those artificial lamps that allows you to, because it will not only boost your immune system, it's gonna affect your mood and the way in which you feel. And that's very important, especially for people suffering from seasonal affective disorder. So I'm going to leave the reading there. Actually, they want me to pull just one more card. They want me to pull a card for, future energy for the counterparts, the Empress. Future energy for the counterparts. It's seeing the divine masculine really step into alignment with his inner divine feminine, but by honoring the outer divine feminine. So there's an honoring of the feminine on the planet, again, coming back to the feminine energy of gentleness and oneness and love and nurturing. And at the same time, it's the discovery and the honoring of the feminine energy, the gentleness, the vulnerability, the nurturing energy that exists inside of this masculine that's just been pushed down for so long by partners who didn't have their best interest in mind, by businesses that they got involved in, work places that were just toxic, that didn't allow for emotional intelligence, didn't allow for healing, pushed them to be driven towards power and success and money, in making a name for themselves instead of truly understanding themselves and honoring themselves and respecting themselves. Because think about it, if your masculine doesn't respect and honor themselves, how can they ever respect and honor you? So I hope that this reading was insightful. Please, guys, give it a like and share the video, share the channel, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon to receive all notifications, and please support me over on Patreon if you feel so called. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all of my incredible supporters and all of my moderators on the channel. You guys are incredible. You guys are rock stars. Keep shining your light, guys. We're doing amazing.